Thank you very much for being here today with me. Please tell me your name and your project.
So I am Sandeep. I am one of the co-founders at Polygon. Polygon is a Ethereum scaling platform which is approach agnostic. That means we have various different kinds of solution. We have a Polygon POS chain. We have Polygon layer 2. In the form of zero knowledge rollups. We have data availability chains and Polygon SDK and a lot of other things. So all in all, it's a Ethereum scaling platform. Polygon, one of the solutions, Polygon POS, is currently the one of the most successful and most adopted platforms in this space.
What do you think that made you capable of executing faster than Ethereum, that had everything going for them, but still taking their leisurely time to achieve a switch over to POS and everything else?
I don't think that Ethereum, Ethereum community is taking us leisure time. I mean, it's actually Ethereum is like the most adopted blockchain in this space, right? It has $700 billion worth of value floating around in it and all that. And in order to scale that, blockchains are a very what should I say, kind of a rigid softwares, because you have to roll out the updates on the network setting, you have to make sure it's remains decentralized. It's not say one single party is running it. And Ethereum in that sense is after, I think with Bitcoin, or even more decentralized than Bitcoin, I would say. So in that setting, when you have to roll out these software updates, it's very, very difficult and challenging. And plus you have this huge amount of hundreds of billions of dollars on Ethereum. So it's hard to scale on layer 1. That is the whole thesis of Polygon, right? So on the layer 1, you can't do too many experiments because it's the fundamental layer. But on the layer 2, what Polygon is building on, these secondary layer blockchains, there you are free to do more experiments because, these are, slightly less decentralized than layer 1. You don't need to decentralize it, beyond a certain level. A certain level of decentralization is good. And then, the security is also coming from Ethereum main chain. So you can do much more experiments. So that's why, a large number of Ethereum community members are also, trying to scale Ethereum on the layer 2. And then obviously layer 1 efforts are also there.
You recently announced an initiative about zero knowledge, and tell me about it, both why that matters and what the initiative consists in.
Yeah, so thesis is the same, that we want to scale Ethereum, and then zero knowledge, the power of zero knowledge cryptography is such that we can do complex computations off chain and then provide very succinct proofs of those computations on Ethereum, which can be proven and which can be verified properly that okay, this particular computation was done properly. And you can move all this execution of business logic onto this onto the layer 2. So although there are other efforts like optimistic rollups and all that which got popular attention in the last 6 to 12 months, but our multiple months of research in the last year, we were very clear and we very conclusively we realized and are very convinced that zero knowledge technology is going to be the ultimate the backbone of scaling blockchains and taking blockchains to the internet scale. So hence we wanted to go all in on zero knowledge, and we announced a $1 billion fund. We have already announced 2 solutions. One of them was an acquisition, first ever, a public network merger. So where we, took in Hermes solution from, the Switzerland-based team that has become Polygon Hermes. And then with Ernst & Young, which is one of the, big 4 audit firms, their technology division also has this product called Nightfall. So we have a strategic partnership with them, and we have multiple more solutions which are yet to be announced and will be announced in the coming weeks.
You are talking about internet scale architectures, and certainly blockchain hardware has been growing proportionally to blockchain adoption, but still there is a lot of compute available that is not directly on the blockchain. Do you believe that zero knowledge can represent a conduit that naturally allows blockchain application layers to take advantage of traditional compute?
Absolutely. That's the whole premise about it, that with zero knowledge technology you can compute a very large kind of a program, arbitrary program, and then prove only we provide a very succinct proof of that on the Ethereum main chain, right? And then you can be on Ethereum main chain, you can be 100% sure that this computation was done correctly. So that provides you kind of the holy grail for for achieving enormous scale for this Web3 technology worldwide.
Can you give a use case when a large computation is required and that this kind of approach can deliver?
Yeah. So very simple approach can be like, for example, in blockchain gaming, right? Right now you only use NFTs, like games are only using NFTs and the marketplaces and simple asset logic on chain. But there have been attempts to kind of have the game logic also on chain, right? I mean, because gamers are very passionate about these things, and there's a multi-billion-dollar industry, and eventually you want that the game servers are also like those game servers which are run by the gaming companies, they are also computing everything in a transparent and decentralized way, right? I mean, you could technically, theoretically, right now the technology is not there, but theoretically you could have a large program like a gaming program. You could compute them off chain and then provide inputs or kind of a verification of that on the main chain. Those kind of things are possible.
So the execution of the game would still be centralized, but it would be trustless.
It will be trustless.
Because anyone would be able to prove that the game state is what the centralized engine tells the world.
Exactly.
And you wouldn't need the same degree of computation available to prove that they are correct.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you don't need that to be on chain. It can happen separately, and then a succinct proof can come on blockchain. And the power of zero knowledge technology is that we use something called validity proof. So if, let's say, they compute something wrongly, that proof will not be allowed even to submit on the Ethereum main chain. That proof will simply fail, and then all the gamer community, they simply need a kind of a alert service where they can say that, hey, game logic has been computed wrongly. So the company, if they decide to do that and they compute something wrongly, then they lose the trust of their entire gaming community, which is counterproductive to their business. So it kind of this whole Web3 industry and this experience is about we human beings growing out of this institutional trust mentality, right? Like in the last 300 years, everything in our human society has become institutions. Government is an institution, bank is an institution, gaming provider is an institution, Facebook is an institution, so Twitter is an institution. And by and large, today where we are, we do not want to trust these institutions in any form. And if you see on a 10,000 feet view, this is exactly what is happening with this Web3 industry. We want even though there are institutions or game developers, app developers, whatever, but we want them to be computing things correctly as they project. It's not like Facebook is showing me on my news feed something that their political biases say, right? Their newsfeed algorithms, there have been a lot of debate about it. So you want these institutions to kind of compute things correctly, right? And then second is our data, privacy, right? So if you see on a larger scale, this is what Web3 technology is all about, like providing transparency and trustlessness, that we don't need to trust an institution what they are doing with our data or our money or our assets. And second, eventually we should be able to get into a data privacy mode where we don't need to share our data as human beings.
And the advantage will be also reciprocal. As of today, Yann LeCun, who is the chief of AI at Facebook, is very vocal on Facebook, trying to convince everyone that the efforts of self-improvement at Facebook are genuine. And nobody believes him. So in your future architecture, Facebook will be able to prove to everyone that they are not lying.
Yes.
Because they will be able to provide that compact proof and anyone will be able to verify that.
Absolutely, that's the intent on the larger scale.
You mentioned NFTs that are, together with DeFi, today two of the hottest new applications of blockchain. What currently is for you exciting about NFTs, and how do you see them evolving in the near future?
So, I mean, NFT, a large amount of kind of attention that has come to NFTs, has come from these abstract art NFTs, right? Which have, these bored apes and things like that, which have been selling for millions and millions of dollars. But then NFTs have other categories also, which we believe in the long run are going to be bigger. The second bigger category is the gaming NFTs, right? So in game, like people are spending, or the younger generations are spending so much time inside these games, which we also call like metaverses, right? So they buy assets like they buy assets in the real world and all that, right? So, and then deplatforming has been an issue with these games, and it has been like kind of a latent demand where the gamers want to control their assets. Secondly, they want to be able to take these assets to secondary markets, which is the play to earn model, right? What is the play to earn model? That you play a game, you earn some assets over there, which you are free to take in the public market, and you can sell it off, right? And you can earn money with that. So the good players can actually earn, play games while enjoying the game. They can earn some kind of assets which they can sell in the market. So that's the play to earn model. And then in the larger gaming context, this is coming up as one of the biggest thing, because people are also realizing that when you're providing this liquidity option to the gamers also end up spending much more money into the game, because they know that I am buying this sword, then I can sell it off in the market also again, right? So even as a kid, you have $100 budget from your parents to buy some assets. You know that with that $100, maybe I can buy and sell, and I can buy multiple types of assets. So per user spending is also going higher, which is reflecting in a huge amount of revenue in some of the popular games. And that's why like all the gaming companies, big gaming studios are jumping into it. There is huge amount of investment available in the market. That's the second category. The third category that is evolving in the NFTs, and which I also feel is going to be much bigger than the abstract art NFTs, is the brands and celebrities and anything that needs engagement and loyalty with their end customers. So we see, we recently saw Dolce & Gabbana. They did a big collection launch on Polygon. It sold at $6 million in the market, and so they are starting with that. We see a lot of other big brands, like the iconic brands of the world, looking to get into NFTs. And you will see soon enough that every brand that is launching a new collection every semester, they are going to, all of their collections will have some sort of NFT, bindings to it.
Do you think that there is still a certain degree, maybe a large degree of learning that needs to happen on the side of many participants in this exciting area? As an example, the NBA clips that have been sold as NFTs were marketed as the ownership by the holder of the NFT of the clip, while in reality, the traditional copyright and streaming rights and other very well understood and litigated rights did not transfer at all with the NFT itself. So I'm sure it was in totally good faith, but there is a mismatch and a miscommunication, and a lot of practices, including legal practices, have to catch up to what the technology already allows.
Absolutely. Yeah, I mean, there is this, nobody's saying that this industry is matured in any form. Like, it's very, very, very early days, and a lot of things are going to evolve from there. I mean, like for example, with DAOs also, you see that the state of Wyoming now realizes or recognizes DAOs as the official this thing, right? I'm pretty sure soon enough, some of these NFT agreements and all that, you'll be able to attach with that, and government will say that if you are selling an agreement with an NFT, then it can be honored in a court of law, right? So those kind of things will evolve. These patterns will evolve, and the industry will keep growing. But the main fundamental point is that there is a product market fit for NFTs and DeFi, and that's not going to go away. Like unlike 2017-18 when everything was vaporware, this time we have a product market fit. And of course it will go from the hype cycle to the realization and plateaus and all that, but it is going to stay here.
So what role does Polygon play in the world of DeFi?
So, in terms of DeFi, Polygon is, as I said, that, after Ethereum, it's one of the biggest platform. Almost all the top DeFi protocols are also on Polygon. And many of them, as I was saying, that, Polygon's daily active users are much larger now than Ethereum main chain itself. And most of our platforms or the protocols have larger number of daily active users on Polygon versus Ethereum. That's like a trend that we see is going to eventually keep evolving, right? So on the DeFi side, like, as I'm saying that, almost the entire DeFi ecosystem is available on Polygon, and Polygon has proven that if you are able to provide less cost transactions, people are willing to interact with these platforms more, willing to interact with DeFi, willing to interact with DAOs, willing to interact with NFTs and games and things like that much more. So I mean that's where Polygon is.
A lot of things are going the right way for Polygon. What are areas that worry you in the next few months or maybe a couple of years? What are the things, in your opinion, that the Polygon developer community or core should really concentrate on so that this streak of winning achievements is maintained?
Yeah, I mean, I would say that, we have some committed timelines and products, which are just recently announced and all that. So one key factor, the first and most important thing is we need to make sure that we keep shipping the next stage projects. Like right now, our current product is good. It can cater to probably 1 million users, 2 million users. But what happens when the number of users on these applications expand from 1 million users to 10 million users, right? So what are the solutions we are going to launch in the next 6 to 8 months? That is very crucial. Second is, our developer focus needs to remain, as strong as ever. We are largely considered to be a very, very supportive ecosystem. And as the scale is increasing and we have now thousands of teams, it's very hard for our core team to give attention to each and every one. So, how we navigate through that is also a very important thing. And apart from these things, I mean, yeah, like, when this organization is growing, like in the last, we have grown like 400 to 500% in the last, I would say 6-7 months. Now we are like 160 people globally. So adding good people and very talented people is also a very big challenge.
How much a misstep by Ethereum could expose you to troubling developments since you are on top of Ethereum? How much do you depend on Ethereum's ability to keep delivering?
I think, like, when we want to go from 10 million users to 100 million users, Ethereum layer 1 needs to scale, which currently it looks like it's going in the right direction, especially with the merge testnet, for the proof of stake has successfully completed. So, like one of the biggest things for us would be that this merge goes through successfully, and then Ethereum is able to see at least 2x, 3x increment in terms of number of transactions, so that these layer 2s can, provide their or keep putting their transactions on main chain. Otherwise, it will become so complicated that for any average users, the layer 1 will become unusable, and only the layer 2, platforms like us, will be able to put the security transactions on main chain. So,
do you see any future for Polygon to be compatible or cross-chain composable with other layer 1 blockchains?
Currently, we don't believe so. We are fully dedicated to Ethereum, and in fact, like, we are the first layer of defense for Ethereum, against any of these layer 1s. Like, although on the Twitter and media you will see that, Solana or whatever, they are competing with Ethereum, but they also know that when it comes to app by app, they are competing with us. Like user by user, they are competing with us. So right now, we are very much focused on making sure that the Ethereum's leadership position remains, and we are the first layer of defense.
So, acquiring, maintaining, and furthering developer relations is one of the crucial components, as well as acquiring the best of those, maybe in order to become part of the core of Polygon developers themselves. What are your educational initiatives that can build the base over the course of the next year or two in order to multiply the number of people that can support Polygon?
So I would say that one of the biggest thing is that we work very closely with Ethereum community on that. We are a part of almost all the top Ethereum hackathons. Plus we do hundreds of more hackathons with various different partners at the grassroots level for colleges and early developers who are just moving from this one. Then we also have now an university initiative where we are getting a lot of we have now representatives in China, in US, in India, where they are getting students who are still in their colleges to come to Web3. Similarly, we also have some initiatives where these are more like B2B initiatives where we are helping the Web2, established Web2 players to understand more about NFTs, to understand more about DAOs and see how they can use them to expand their communities and grow their revenue models and things like that. So there are multiple such initiatives going on.
Thank you very much for this conversation, and congratulations for the fund and the acquisition, as well as good luck for the next 6 months or year in continuing success.
Thank you so much for having me here.